107 papers. 524 authors from 129 research institutions were involved during this retraction. Now, this Retraction Watch, a renowned blog that reports retraction of scientific papers, has called it a new record. So to start with, just tell us, how serious do you think this incident has been?
It's a very big problem, especially for one time the publisher retracted more than 100 papers at once, and especially from one journal. But the new record, I think, is not new high. Just records happened in last week. So I just discussed with my friends from some library or some research or some evaluation institutes from 2012 to 2016 on Web of Science database. There are lots of retractions happened in the past 5 years. On Web of Science database, some papers from United States, from Germany, from Japan also have been retracted. But this time the issue is very serious because in 2015, Springer, BMC, and other foreign publishers also retracted some papers from China. And this time some Chinese higher education institutes and also some hospitals involved in this issue. So we have to pay attention to this.
Why there have been so many medical doctors involved? Some are saying this is the hardest hit area. Almost all of them actually are doctors who are very busy on the front line in the hospitals. Why that area?
I think it's a problem of the evaluation system in China. In the hospitals, the doctors are very busy, so everybody knows they have to look after their patients during the daytime. They have to do the operations, maybe 5 or 6 operations. They will stay in the operation rooms for some hours, maybe 8 or more than 10 hours. So it's very hard for them to do their daily job. But on the other side, they have to publish papers for the promotion of their professional titles.
Yes.
Yeah, so they have to publish their papers in the journals, especially in the high impact factor journals. So that's one of the reasons they have to publish papers. For some doctors, if they are very good in their clinical job, so it's okay for them to be promoted. But
for the majority of them, they would really have to show that they have published papers. What about, as I mentioned, the problem is really with the peer review system, that they have produced fake peer reviews. What exactly does it mean, fake peer reviews? And is there some kind of procedure or standard in doing that?
I think we have to pay attention to 2 issues. First one, the fake peer review information. For example, some journal publishers or editorial offices will ask the authors to provide some information for the true peers. In the scientific publishing, the peer is a key word for the review. You have to find in your field who is the true peer. So it's very hard for the journal publisher or editorial offices, so they will ask the authors to provide this kind of information.
Basically, there's a loophole there. Basically, it's like asking the soccer player to provide a name for a referee as well. Is there a potential loophole there?
Yes, some authors or if some people they haven't done well in the field of the self-discipline, so they will provide the fake email addresses, so the paper will send to the fake reviewers. So maybe the comments or the evaluation of the paper will be good, will be benefited for the authors. So finally the papers will be accepted to be published. So that's the reason some authors will provide the fake information.
Does the journal have a responsibility in checking the quality or the authenticity of these papers?
I think
and in this case of the Springer Nature or of the tumor magazine that we are tumor biology magazine that we're talking about, does the publishing house also need to do a better job in checking the authenticity of the peer reviews?
Yeah, I agree. The publishers or the editorial offices should be very careful about the information of the peer reviews, especially suggested by the authors. If we provide information such like the email addresses at some commercial email systems for the publishers, you should be very careful. You should double check if the information, if email addresses are correct for the review.
Mm-hmm. Well, there is also this almost an industry where third-party services can be found very easily, for instance, on the internet, where you can ask for help. You can buy the kind of service to help prepare your paper, for instance, in terms of language, or but sometimes they offer even the service to write the thesis for you. How rampant is this kind of industry in China, and why?
Because some higher education institutes or even the hospitals will have some requirements for the journal publishing, but most journals published in UK or in European countries and United States, so those journals have the high impact factor. These are the requirements for universities, research institutes or the hospitals, but we have to publish English papers in those journal publishers.
I mean, in terms of language, I can understand that, but how much do we know that the authors are aware of the kind of fake peer reviews they are getting? Do we know how much? I mean, can we really discredit the work of the authors totally because of this news breaks out about the fake peer reviews?
I should go back to your question before. The third-party service for language publishing is okay, it's accepted internationally. But if we have the third party to do the other services like to write your paper or to do some the research design even or to do some data analysis, should be very careful. Some journals or some journal publishers or editorial offices will not accept this kind of third-party service.
What is the Chinese government? What has the Chinese government been doing in trying to solve this problem? This obviously is a big problem. As I mentioned, the official newspaper of the Chinese government, the People's Daily, actually said defending truth is defending the life of science. So they don't want to see this kind of fraudulent activities either. But why is it still so rampant?
Chinese government, I know in my working experiences, they have done a lot to fight against the misconducts in academic publishing. For example, in the Ministry of Education, in China Association for Science and Technology, in Chinese Natural Science Foundation, and also Ministry of Science and Technology, they have their own organization or committee of fighting the fraud on the misconducts. So Chinese government, the government organizations have done a lot to fight against this kind of problem.
Why has it not worked so far? Do you think it will take more time or more stringent measures needed?
I think it needs time because on the author side, they should learn how to do the research better and to follow up the internationally accepted publishing practice. We call the good publishing practice. And also on the other side, the government, also the research institutes or higher education institutes, they have to set up their own system or they have to build up the internal system to fight against them.
Another thing that people say is there's really the cost of breaking the regulation or breaking the rules is really too low. I mean, your paper is retracted and you can pretty much go on whatever you were doing. Is that true? And does that need to be changed in your eyes? I
think it's true for some PhD candidates or even for some professionals. If they want to promote the career, they have to publish the papers in the foreign journals, and so they will the cost of the misconduct is very low, but the punishment, especially for I think it's a top secret for the authors to tell you or to tell the others we have some problems related to these issues, because it's very dangerous, it's very harmful for their professional career. If this kind of misconduct will be disclosed, there maybe the life will be destroyed. So it's very hard to find this kind of misconduct, and also it's very hard to punish them. But I heard some stories in Japan or in Korea and in some other countries, the punishment is very serious. They will have to give the misconduct people, we have to teach them lessons.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yan Shuai, Director of Journal Publishing with Tsinghua University Press. And you have been watching The Point here on CGTN, and here is my last point. Honestly, I can understand the frustration of these doctors who are caught between a heavy workload and the need for submitting research papers in order to progress in their careers. The system, which bases one's promotional prospects on the number of papers you have published, is wide open to abuse and provides space for fraudulent companies to profit. At the same time, the lack of regulation and punishment makes the cost of these fraudulent actions too low. Even after the retraction of the papers this time, it is not known what will happen to these authors. If there is not a crackdown on such fraudulent conduct and on those who provide such services, we could well see many more papers retracted in the future.